Hey, it's Lemon. Welcome to the Backlogs. Hope you're doing well. Got an odd one for you today. Escape from Duckov. No, I didn't just choke on my own tongue. You heard me correctly. Duckov. What could that possibly mean? I have no idea. Must be some made-up word and definitely not a reference to anything. That's alleged. You're alleged! So yeah, for those of you that are familiar with the gaming scene, this is clearly a play on words. In fact, it's a play on the whole genre. But unlike the aforementioned alleged reference material, Duckov does something that other game didn't do. It's fun. Okay, we've got about 6 seconds before the diehards turn on wall hacks and shoot me from across the map. So if there's anything you take away from this video, it should be this. You could be a duck. Huh. Okay, normally I would have been dead 3 times over by now, so that must have been enough. Oh no, my printer! And to think it was never going to retire. In any case, you've probably guessed it by now, but this is another instance of an indie dev making the terrible mistake of letting me challenge run their game. So a quick shout out to Escape From Duckov for sponsoring today's video. And if you want to play it for yourself, you can use my link in the description or pinned comment down below to get it on Steam or Epic Games and let them know I sent you. But because this is a sponsor video, you and I both know what this means. We gotta break it in some way. So today, we're gonna find out. Can you beat Escape From Duckov without using vendors? First things first, we need to make our character. I know we're supposed to be making a duck, but that just doesn't feel right. Oh my god, why would you let me do that? Let's see here. Pure white feathers, a bit more plumage than you'd expect, and a curved beak. There we are, nature's most deadly predator, the seagull. Mine? Now we just need some eyebrows, and we can tell everyone we mean business. Almost there. Perfect. Mine. And with our character created, it's time to escape Duckov. Sort of. Duckov is an isometric top-down shooter. Move with your WASDs, click to shoot, spacebar to dodge, all that jazz. As is custom in the genre, you'll be doing a lot of searching objects, and it'll take a second or two to sift through all the items in the container. Not sure what I was expecting, to be honest. And also as is custom, you'll be dealing with all sorts of stats and meters in order to stay alive. Thirst, hunger, carry weight, pocket amounts, and an absolutely overwhelming amount of information about your gun. I have no idea what I'm looking at here, but if I had to guess, I think this gun went to college. Gunplay is simple enough too. You can fire from the hip, or hold right click to aim and reduce your chance of your shot going wide. You can't move as fast when you're aiming though, so keep that in mind. And for my Firebomb Academy students out there, yes, you can absolutely shoot any explosive barrels you see for the results you crave. Anyone else hungry all of a sudden? Now as you expect, this game very quickly becomes a numbers game. What armor do I wear? What stat boost does it give me? Is it light enough that I can still move quickly, or am I going for more of a walking tank build where I can't move, but I can't die either? And better question, how many guns do I really need in my pockets? But with the tutorial completed and my pockets full of unnecessary snacks and bullets, both of which I keep mixing up, I make my way to the extraction point and get introduced to the base mechanic. The headquarters mechanic, not the basic mechanic. Look, you're smart, you get it. Welcome to the home base. It's a bit empty at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be fixing that over the next couple of hours. Our boy Jeffrey over here is our first NPC friend. Well, friend might be too strong a word. Non-aggressive acquaintance might be more appropriate. Jeff shows us around the place, which consists of a series of lockers we can put our stuff in, a construction panel where we can build things, the vending machine, which is strictly off limits to us for the purpose of the challenge run, and the bubble machine. Wait, no, the enhancer. Same thing really. It's for upgrading your character. Jeff here has a few quests for us to do, like building a workbench and killing our first enemy, and if we complete said task, we'll be given some items, experience, and cash. And with that little bit of minimal prompting, it's time to go to work. I empty my pockets to make room for more loot, then head out of the bunker to the first map of the game. Welcome to Ground Zero. Your basic starting zone, it's actually quite a bit larger than I would have thought it would be. There's all sorts of things to discover, shortcuts to unlock, and ducks to aggressively murder. But first, we need to find some wood so we can build that workbench of ours. For right now, I have no idea what is and isn't valuable, so I'm just shoving everything and anything into my pockets. But that's gonna bite me in the feathery butt pretty quickly. We have a lot of ground to cover out here, with several distinct locations full of goods and enemies to explore as well. We're gonna need some bigger pockets. Hello there, is that a hammer? Oh god, panic, panic! Well, that's one piece of wood down. Ooh, and some healing and cash. Nice. One more act of violence later, and I've gotten the last of the wood I need, and in a nearby gun box I found not only a shotgun that I have no interest in using, but also an extendable magazine for sniper rifles, which can only mean one thing. My guns are customizable. I also found a blueprint that lets me craft a pistol. Ooh boy, okay, here we go. So here's how this works. See that blue and red line on the guns? That's its durability. If that blue line gets too low, the gun breaks. And the red line is the game's way of telling you that the gun can't be fully repaired to maximum durability anymore. So, in order to keep your weapons in working order, you have two options: repair them, or craft new ones using weapon parts that you find around the map. When we make the workbench back at the bunker, we can take the blueprints we find around the map, copy-paste them into the workbench, and there you have it, the ability to make a maximum durability weapon. So long as you have the parts anyway. We can also upgrade our workbench. This lets us craft new items, use the workbench to repair weapons, break down items we find, and eventually craft our own armor as well. The only problem is that it's going to take some leveling up, crafting supplies, and money to do it. And it's right around here where I learned why this run is a challenge. Not only can we not buy simple crafting items from the store, but we can't sell items either, which means the only way for us to make any amount of money right now is by doing quests. But Lemon, what about the cash you picked up earlier? Nope, completely different from your money. Can't add it to my total, which is going to be a real problem, because not only do I need money to expand my storage lockers and guarantee my hoarding efforts aren't wasted, but you also need money to upgrade your character. And these upgrades are some pretty important stuff, ranging from more pockets to better aim to more health. And so, the challenge of the run rears its ugly head. We are in a bottleneck. We can only get money by doing quests, and the quests are limited, which means every upgrade we buy must be deliberate. Buy the wrong upgrade, and that's money we can never get back and spend on something more important. But come on, it's a game about ducks with guns. How hard can... I'm sorry, what? Wait, no, hold up. What do you mean spiders? Oh, good. It's dark now. Thanks. What the heck was that? Oh, that's what it meant by spider. Oh god, they have machine guns. Return fire? Nope. Bad idea. That just pissed it off. Run. Run faster. So, yeah. Disregard the day-night cycle at your own peril. Things get a little rough outside at night. I was able to clear a few quests though, so it wasn't all for nothing, and it looks like the game is going to take pity on me just a little bit, because it's offering me money to spend money at the upgrade machine. I accept. A few more pockets in my backpack later, and I decide to sleep the night away rather than explore in the dark any more than I have to. And now that we're fully rested and no longer being hunted by machines with too many legs, we get to the second problem of this run. I have a mighty need for simple tools and materials, and boy howdy does this game expect me to get them from the vendor. The lack of easy access means that every single box must be searched, and every item must be collected. I wish I could say that there's a distinct pattern to which kind of boxes hold what, and there is, but every now and again you find a tool in a random box rather than a toolbox. I think I can stop checking the toilets though. That's always poop. But hey, at least I found another NPC. This is Mud. Personally, I feel like he should have been called Muck, seeing as he's a muscle duck, but whatever. Mud here is another quest giver, which is great news for me, because the more quest givers we have, the more sources of money I have at my disposal. Speaking of more sources, I decided to focus my efforts on expanding the map and carried enough wood to repair all the bridges before immediately chickening out after realizing that that side of the map was covered in enemies. Oh look, this game has status effects. Guess we should talk about how to heal and such. There are several types of healing item. The smallest healing item is the bandages, which don't give much health back, but can be used quickly and will stop bleeding. The other health packs are heavier and take longer to apply, but they give you more and more health depending on the size, and can all be used multiple times. I also finally got my hands on a machine gun. Yeah, that works. Upsides, enemies have a hard time surviving when 95% of the air around them is bullets. Downsides, heavy bullet consumption and low accuracy, even when you're aiming down sights. Thankfully, this particular machine gun uses the same bullets as my pistol, so I've got ammo to spare, but the aim is definitely a problem for me. After agonizing about it for several minutes, I decided to start using my funds to upgrade my inventory space, as well as upgrade my crafting station, because Lord knows I'm going to need that disassembly station in the future. Fun fact, the ducks around the map aren't all on the same team, so if you hear random shooting, don't panic. It's probably not you they're shooting at. Good lord, this map is big. This is going to take a lot longer than I thought. Oh hello, who are you? Ah, a mysterious vendor, huh? Yet another game mechanic meant to taunt me with the inaccessible items that I need. You make me sick. Oh, is that a shotgun? Ooh, okay, point taken. I'll leave. Ooh, what's this do? Oh, okay, fast travel. I bet if we had a way to break this wall, we could make this a two-way transportation too. I complete several of the easier quests, which usually involved things like killing enemies with headshots, unlocked multiple shortcuts around the map so I could get everywhere faster on future runs, and found some keys that you can use to unlock doors around the different maps. And we should talk about these for a second. In Duckov, there are multiple locked doors, and every time you go back to base, they relock, which means you need to have the key to the door in your inventory if you intend to make a stop there on your next run. Unless you've got the key registration device. If you craft this in your base, you can scan every key you bring back to it, making the game act as if that particular key is permanently in your inventory. This was a smart choice. You can still have the quality of life of not needing 17 keys in your pockets, but there's still the added fear of losing a new key you found if you die before making it back to the base to register it. Oh, I also got my first totem. Special boost to your character, you can hold 2 totems at a time. This one makes it harder for enemies to notice me, which is always a plus. Wait, switch view? What's that do? There's a top-down view? Oh, that's nice, that's very nice. Not only does this make it easier to see around some obstacles, but it also increases your view range a bit as well. Personally, I don't think it's as aesthetically pleasing as the normal view, so I'll probably only use it when it's tactically necessary, but I'm always happy to have the option for top-down in isometric games. I give Mud some items to help him on his exercise journey, and, I'm starting to wonder if he's actually a physical trainer. I find some new body armor, which gives me more pockets and defense at the cost of speed, develop a medical station in my base so I can craft healing items and buffs, then give Mud enough cigarettes that he decides he wants to live with me. For my benefit, of course. I also discovered that there's multiple classes in the game that unlock and give you different stats, but you need to complete more quests to unlock them. Goals for the future, I suppose. Well, might as well let Mud move in. It'll make getting to his quests easier at any rate. More importantly, it looks like Mud actually is a physical trainer of some kind, and can boost my stats if I bring him items like chocolate milk, soda, and the like. This is fantastic news, because not only do I have these items stocked up for reasons I can't explain, but all of these upgrades don't cost me any money. Finally, an upgrade I don't have to think about. In the spirit of the challenge, I won't be able to use his shop at all, which has some, interesting items, but his quests and physical enhancements were well worth the effort to get him here. I continue my killing spree around the map, slowly leveling up and getting better equipment as I do, invest in storage solutions, because holy hell there are a lot of items in this game and I'm clearly going to need all of them, and eventually decide that it's worth my time to invest in upgrading my character stats, getting some extra health, gun damage, reload speed, and recoil control. And then, after hours of playing, I finally find a flathead screwdriver. This means nothing to you as a viewer, but this was a big moment for me. Not only had this starting quest been staring me in the face for the last few hours, but it served as proof that every item could, in theory, be found in the overworld. You just gotta believe. I mean, yeah, we could have finished that quest hours ago if we just bought a screwdriver from the store, but believe! I find a sewer grate covered by a box, which my curiosity demands that I remove, and I seem to have found an underground area with a boatman and a ritual circle, which I touch, naturally. And oh, would you look at that? All the feathers I've been taking off of dead enemies can be converted into totems. It's a good day. Judging by the colors and numbering system, it looks like totems come in different rarities. The better the totem, the better and more numerous the bonuses. And oh look, said ritual circle is just right below my base. Talk about convenient. This also explains the nightmares I've been having. More upgrades for my seagull, more running away screaming when I overstay my welcome in the overworld, and eventually, my first death. Unfortunate, but long overdue if I'm being honest. As expected of the genre, when you die, you respawn with nothing. Well, almost nothing. You will keep your melee weapon and any totems you had equipped, but everything else that was on your person or in your pockets is now gone. But don't panic, there's still a little hope. Assuming you don't screw up and die again on the way there, you can try to return to the place you died on your next scavenger run. And should you be successful, you can then find all of your gear, waiting to be shoved greedily into your pockets and re-equipped. Then it's just a matter of making it back to base, and you're good to go. That said, if you die again before you can recollect your stuff, that's it. All of it, gone forever. So, don't do that. I find some more goodies around the map, including some weapon parts that give me some very nice bonuses, which I will absolutely need, because apparently this game has bosses. They've got nameplates, special weapons, and tend to be surrounded by minions as well. Very dangerous, very hard to deal with if you aren't prepared for them. The worst part is that if you die in the area they like to patrol, the chances of you getting your items back is substantially lower. Turns out, trying to stuff your pockets full of garbage isn't exactly easy when you're getting shot repeatedly. This is gonna end badly, isn't it? Whew, okay, third time's the charm. Just had to wait for them to get distracted by another enemy group. Considering how difficult this game is about to become, we should talk about a few last-minute mechanics I forgot to mention. First off is bullets. They come in several varieties, and the fancier the bullets are, the less durability they take away from your gun when used. And fancier bullets also do more damage due to the fact that they have better armor penetration. So if you're going up against a boss or a heavily armored enemy like the spiders, you'll want to switch to your best ammo. Oh, and don't forget, enemies do have loose bullets in their pockets, but you can also unload the ammunition from their guns for a few more rounds. Just something you might overlook on accident. If you're ever curious how well your bullets do against different levels of armor, there's a shooting range in the base for exactly that. And don't be afraid to go nuts with that trigger finger. Any bullets you shoot in your base aren't actually used. Another mechanic I forgot to mention because it took me several hours to realize it was a thing is your dog. You might have noticed that lovable, immortal pup that's been following me around all game. Turns out, he can hold a single item for you. More if you upgrade him. This doesn't count towards your weight total, and will remain in your dog's inventory until you take it out, even if you die. Good dog. Right, I think we've done all we can at Ground Zero. It's time to move to the warehouse area. This map is just as large as the last one, if not slightly larger, and has a multitude of difficult enemies hiding in wait around every corner, including some new bosses. This one has a sniper rifle. Thank God he was distracted, that could have gone badly for me. Because I've already had to navigate through one map to get here, pocket space is at a premium. Why do I have a pot? I don't need a pot, get that out of here. And with new zones come new quests, which invites me to craft new shops, which in turn have new NPCs with new quests, and so on and so on. I'm not 100% on what kind of build I want to go with yet, but I did find out that you can't equip the same totem twice. So for example, I can't have two tier 1 ninja totems, but if I had a tier 2 ninja totem, I could equip that with my tier 1. Clear as mud? No, not that mud. The stuff on the... You know what? Whatever, we're moving on. At this point in the game, it's starting to become kinda obvious that we're falling behind. The fact that I can't upgrade my stats is making it a bit hard to survive, and I'm not exactly a fan of having to run all the way through 2 maps to get my stuff back every time I die. But for every downside, there is an up. I just found me an actual rifle scope, which means I can snipe enemies now. Huh, that's an interesting way of doing that. Now I just need to find a weapon that you're actually supposed to snipe with, and we'll be all set. I make my way around the map, trying my best to explore every nook and cranny while avoiding dying repeatedly, a task that's a lot harder than you'd think, and eventually find what appears to be the way forward to map number 3, Farmtown. And the maps are just getting bigger. Great. There appears to be a lot of teleporters on this map at least, but a word to the wise. Don't jump into a teleporter without knowing where it goes first. You might just end up in the middle of a war zone, which is less than ideal. But good news! I was finally able to find myself the parts I needed for that key registration device. No longer will I weep at the thought of locked rooms, and it only took me about 6 hours longer than it should have to unlock it. In fact, things are looking up. I have an actual sniper rifle for my scope now, which is making clearing maps a lot safer. I was able to fend off a boss that looked like a fly that literally throws poop at you, because of course it does, and made the unfortunate discovery that I too could throw poop at enemies. I'm not gonna, but the option is there if you're a psychopath. I was then almost mowed down by a rogue arcade cabinet, you know, as you do. Killed the manager of the local mine just so I could steal his eyeball to add to my key collection, again, as you do. Then made my way into a contaminated zone in hopes of finding some cool loot, fending off defense turrets the whole way through. And after all of that, with my pockets full of fancy weapons, important keys, and a veritable treasure trove of crafting supplies, I died in the most anticlimactic way possible. I died to an electrical storm. Oh, excuse me, a strom. QA missed that one, huh? I'm not entirely sure what these storms consist of, but NPCs have been very adamant that I need to be back at base when they happen. And now that I'm stuck outside with no extraction point nearby, I understand why. Yeah, at least I was able to find some night vision goggle blueprints. Now all we have to do is get back to our body. No big deal, it's fine. It's just 3 maps away at night. How bad could this be? Wow, there's a lot of enemies here. Oh god, they do a lot of damage. Oh please no, my sniper rifle! So begins the quick downward spiral that tends to happen to me when I play games that have hardcore loot mechanics. Just lost 50,000 souls because I died in Dark Souls? No problem. But tell me that all the weapons and equipment I've been farming for over the last 10 hours are gone, and things go downhill fast. I start to get reckless, impatient, and eventually extremely frustrated, making silly mistakes and dying to things that I really should be able to handle at this point. But that's the thing about these types of games. You can't give up. You gotta brush yourself off, go find some new gear, and get back to... You know what? I think it's time to revamp my build. This entire time I've been fully decked out in bulletproof armor and multiple weapons, when my natural playstyle is always fast and loose. Less equipment, less weight. Less weight, less energy and thirst drain, and faster run speed. Hit and run tactics, careful planning, strategy. These things don't require loot, just good aim and a reliable weapon scooped off a dead corpse. You know, I feel much better about this. I bet I can even improve upon why is the screen turning red. Yo, hold up, what the fuck is that thing? Hey, whoa, what the fuck? The fuck was that? Well, guess this is as good a time to play around my build as any. I tried shotguns, but didn't like the inaccuracy and requirement to get up close for them to be effective. Tried assault rifles, which had good damage but were prone to firing multiple shots and ruining their accuracy in more intense situations. And tried to use explosives, but found that they were more for getting enemies out of cover than for actually killing them. And while I was able to find that red phantom duck and get my revenge, all he had on him was some totems, a blueprint for something called MF Poison, which sounds like a gun, and some sort of unstable sphere that gives you a mystery effect, hurts you, charges your energy and thirst to full, and has a 5% chance of instantly killing you. What was that mystery effect? We'll never know, because I ran into Flyboy again, who poisoned me with his poop gun, and despite killing him and healing as desperately as I could, I died. I died from inhaling poop. And in typical Lemon fashion, I decided to try to sprint back to my body with minimal gear for extra speed, and somehow managed to bump into every single enemy in the game. Goodbye, Mystery Sphere. It was fun while it lasted. Maybe I'm just overthinking things. We just gotta go back to the basics. Get rid of the gunpowder, get rid of the gun modifications and the ammo types, just build a simple bow and a stack of 100 arrows and go to town. And you know what? It actually works pretty well. Between my ninja totem, which makes me quieter, and the fact that the bow doesn't make loud noises when you fire, you can stealth your way through entire maps so long as you take your time. But while the bow is nice, it's just a bit too slow when shit hits the fan. So I decided to modify my build to the next best thing. Ladies and gentlemen, my custom build, the Hatchling. Consisting of a supersized backpack, an eggshell helmet that reduces my energy consumption by 50%, a pistol with a silencer muzzle, and 2 totems that reduce my noise levels, I have become a ghost on the battlefield. The only way the enemy notices me is if they're already looking at me when I approach. I picked one of the stronger pistols for this build, doing enough damage to kill most ducks in 2 to 4 hits, which means I can fly across maps without wasting too much ammo or drawing too much attention to myself. And because you never know when a red duck from outer space will pop up, I've loaded my dog's backpack with a souped up assault rifle, just in case. This build suits me just right. Not only does it keep me light on my feet and invisible to most enemies, but it's specifically designed to force me to focus on completing quests. You can't be bogged down with random loot if you want to stay quick. Grab what you need and get out. Because let's be real, outside of a few bosses that threw me for a loop, the biggest problems I've had to face this entire run is my own greed. I mean, there's also the looming sense of dread that I'll run out of money at some point and be unable to continue, but like 90% of it is greed. The game continues, with me crafting more shops and unlocking more quest merchants, along with entire inventories of fun toys that I can only gawk at. But then, a dilemma. I've done most of the missions available to me, but in order to push forward, I need to do several harder quests. Or rather, quests that are harder for me. The 2 quests I'm stuck on require me to kill enemies with a specific gun, and to craft the chef's kitchen in my base. Why are these so hard? Simple. I need a pot for the chef, and I need a very specific gun to finish the kill quest. Both of which would be no problem if I could access a vendor, but guess who made an arbitrary rule about that one? And it's right about here where I realized how bad of a mistake this run idea was. I had turned what was supposed to be a fun looter shooter into a desperate grind, resetting the map over and over again in hopes that this time, one of the 75 boxes around the map would have the pot I needed. I'd seen it before, I know it exists out there in the wild somewhere, but for reasons I'll never understand, RNGesus and I just don't get along. Never have, never will. I did my best to push forward, even going so far as to unlock a teleporter, which saved me a bit of walking, but teleporting to Farmtown costs money, which means this station is nowhere near as useful as I need it to be. But then, a flicker of hope. After doing several side quests that were more to pass the time than anything, I somehow unlocked a new crafting option, the ATM. The only thing it says it can do is deposit or withdraw cash. But maybe, just maybe, that means what I think it means. And after several hours of stealthily making my way around maps and ambushing basic minions and boss groups alike, I finally get the items I need. Sitting there, out in the open and completely removed from RNG, a pan. It was right there the whole time! You know what's even worse? I think I could have just crafted one. Yep, definitely could have just made one the entire time. Reading's a skill, boys and girls. But with that done, boatloads of missions opened up. I'm going through secret underground passages, finding even better guns like the Deagle, and always and forever improving my build, finding boatloads of totems which reduce stamina drain and increase my pockets and carry weight. And then, the moment of truth. After dozens of hours of grinding, dying, and occasional pleading, I can build an ATM. God, I hope this thing works like I think it does. Let's see here. I have 274 paper cash stacks on my bird, and if I click deposit maximum amount... Oh! Oh! That's it. That was the last missing piece of the puzzle. At this point in the game, enemies are swimming in cash, which means all we have to do is kill a few birds, return their cash to my ATM, and now all of the upgrades around my base that have been sitting idle are within my grasp. Suddenly that $50,000 storage upgrade doesn't seem so out of reach, huh? And it's not just storage. My thirst and energy drain stats are about to drop, all those upgrades to my aim and damage are now easily within reach, and I can teleport to Farmtown without even worrying about the cost. From here on out, it's just a matter of finishing quests and... that's a lot of required materials. You know what? I'm just gonna focus on the main quest. I infiltrate a suspicious office building in the middle of Farmtown, head down into the creepy glowing red basement, and find the hidden J-Lab facility. Time to see what this whole thing has been about. What? Access denied? Let me in. Let me in! You know what? I think that's enough for one day. At this point, it looks like the challenge won't be stopped by anything other than hours and hours and hours of grinding. And all because Jeff here doesn't want me to use the vending machine. You know what, Jeff? I think it's about time you and I had a bit of a talk. And there you go, Escape from Duckov. There's still a boatload of missions to do and entire maps to explore, but considering we've broken past the money barrier, the only remaining challenge is to grind out materials and find all of the hidden keys that let you progress the game. And at that point, we're just completing the game normally with extra steps. So, in the interest of not spoiling the ending, I think that's where we'll stop for today. A big thanks again to Escape From Duckov for sponsoring this video. I had a great time playing their game, and considering the massive amounts of unnecessary grinding I forced myself to do, that's saying something. If you want to play it for yourself, use my link in the description or pin comment down below to let them know that I sent you. And remember, if you happen to find a mysterious space orb, just choke that sucker down immediately. For science. Then tell me in the comments how it went. But in any case, that's all I've got. Take care of yourselves, be good to one another, and I'll see you all again soon.